Good morning. This is the time and place for the Nevada Tax Commission meeting. Today is October 3rd, 2023 at 9 a.m. Tina, can you call roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner Littman?
Present, but today is October 2nd, I believe.
You are absolutely correct, but I'm going to be here again tomorrow, so
Okay.
let the record reflect it's October 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bursey?
Here.
Commissioner Rotifer? Here. Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Byram?
I'm here.
Commissioner Witt?
Here.
Chair Wren?
I'm here. Thank you very much. Just for the record, Commissioner Brown has resigned and been reappointed to another committee. We still have a quorum, so we will conduct business. So, public comment. Tina, do you have a blurb you want to read for public comment?
Yes. Persons wishing to provide public comment remotely may access the meeting by using the telephone numbers and meeting ID posted on the agenda. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person, and comments based on viewpoint will not be restricted. Public comment will be available at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the agenda. At the discretion of the chairperson, additional public comment may be heard when that item is reached. The chairperson may allow additional time to be given to a speaker as time allows at his sole discretion.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any public comment on Zoom?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Again, if you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now. There are no callers wishing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you very much. Do we have public comment in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. If you identify yourself, spell your name for the record, please, and you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. My name is Ron Voigt. My last name is spelled V like in Victor, O as in Oscar, I as in India, G as in golf, and T as in tango. Before I get started, I do want to thank two people. Of course, Tina, she does a fantastic job on putting these meetings together. But Patricia, the public information officer, she really provided me some information in a really efficient manner. Now to my comments. In my opinion, there's been misquotes in the department's audit report, which they call the AU 39, and or administrative law judges write-up related to Blackout Inc. In fact, it looks like to me that the ALJ really wrote the audit report. The reason I say that, there's only 2 sentences, and I have a copy of their audit report. There's only 2 sentences that support what I used to call the audit finding. They call it a sales recommendation now. Sales recommendation is something you use within an internal audit report, not a compliance audit. Compliance audit, you have an audit finding. But anyway, getting back to the 2 sections that I believe have been misquoted by the department in their audit report is NRS 372.065 has nothing to do with retail at all. It has to do with the wholesale price. For anything to be taxable, it has to be a retail sale. The other misquote is 372.025. They use a statement called total sales must be reported to the department. That's not true. The Nevada Supreme Court has stated that NRS 372.025, they have stated it as total retail sales price. Not all sales by a retailer will be required to be reported to the department. Examples are a contractor with a sales permit or even an eye doctor with a sales permit. So that's what I see that's been misquoted in their audit report. In the ALJ's write-up, what I see has been misquoted is that the ALJ states NRS 372.105 imposes a sales tax on all gross receipts from the retail sales of tangible personal property in Nevada. This is incorrect. Again, I will use the Nevada Supreme Court. They have defined NRS 372.105 as the following. Sales tax is imposed on gross receipts / total retail sales price. Again, you do not see the phrase all gross receipts. What they're trying to do in their report is to say that all gross revenue needs to be reported to the department. That is not true. Retail sales activity does. I will use a famous quote used by Johnny Cochran during the O.J. Simpson's trial. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit. Now I'm going to change that a little bit. I will make a little change. If the quote, which the regs that they quoted, the NRS does not fit, you must acquit. The taxpayer should have won on that decision last month. Chairman, can I have just a few more seconds to kind of complete two paragraphs, sir?
30 seconds, sir.
Okay. There are no statutory or regulatory Nevada sales and use tax provision that relate specifically to the taxability of admission fees, entertainment fees, and similar charges. Since the gross receipts from the collection of these charges do not involve tangible personal property, there is no taxable retail sale that can be the basis for imposing the sales tax or use tax. That you will find in opinions that have been issued by the Nevada Supreme Court. And to back that up, the Nevada Legislature passed the Nevada Bill of Rights, which has the same type of language, NRS 360.291. My last paragraph is this. Nevada sales tax is assessed only on the sales of tangible personal property. Sales of services are excluded from sales tax. However, when services are associated, and that's what you got to look at, with the sale of tangible personal property, the total amount of taxable sales or lease or retail price includes any services that are a part of the sales. Now, they let you know about that, but they didn't let you know about the next part. Or any charges by the seller for any services necessary to complete the sale. And I do think that's the way some of you commissioners were thinking indirectly. Now, this paragraph is supported, what I just said, again, by the Nevada Supreme Court, by the courts, but it's also supported by NRS 372.025, NRS 372.050, which is retail sale, NRS 372.085, which is, it defines what tangible personal property is, which is touch, smell, or feel, and NRS 372.05. Now, and the last one, NRS 360B.48.1C. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any public comment in Carson City this morning? Don't everybody get up at once. All right, thank you very much. Director Hughes, could you administer the oath, please?
Yes, for those testifying today, will you please stand and raise your right hand to take the oath? For those of you that plan to testify today, do you promise that your testimony during these proceedings will be truthful? If so, say I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First thing on our agenda this morning is meeting minutes for August 14th, 2023. Do we have any changes that need to be made and or a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Byram here. I would move to approve the minutes of the August 14th, 2023 meeting.
Commissioner Witt, second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're up to the consent calendar. Does any commissioner have a item they would like pulled from the consent calendar?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram,
Yes.
I would like to pull item 4B1, Advanced Management Services.
Okay. Anything else?
Commissioner Lippman would like to pull item, I believe it's the consent calendar G3, offer and compromise for the Patels.
Okay. Any other commissioners want to pull an item?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rodefer.
Yes.
I would pull item 4E1. I just have a question on that.
Grand Canyon Destinations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
This is Commissioner Witt. I would ask to pull 4B6, Bedford Reinforced Plastics, Inc. for a question.
Okay. Anyone else? I'd entertain a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda then.
Commissioner Lippman moves to approve the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Witt, second.
I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, let's do these in order. Let's go to B1. Give everybody just a second to get down to it. Advanced management.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram,
Yes, go ahead.
the reason I pulled this item is because I have a question. In the normal course, when we get a voluntary disclosure request, the business is setting up to continue doing business in Nevada. However, this business was reporting a one-time transaction with no intention of ongoing business in Nevada. Yet the department set them up with an account for ongoing business. And it seems like, I'm just confused if they just needed a temporary permit number so that they could come into compliance, or rather than having it set up as an ongoing business, they're going to continue to get notices and have to file 0 returns. And it just seems like it wasn't, maybe there's an option in there just to have them do a one-time rather than set them up as an ongoing. So that's just my question.
Okay, we'll ask the state. She's here.
Karen Ebright, Revenue Officer for the Department of Taxation. My last name is spelled E as in Edward, B as in boy, R-I-G-H-T. When we got the application for advanced management services, I was not aware at the time that we got the account set up that they were going to only have this one time. They sent everything in all at one time. So they sent in their application, they sent in their return, they sent in their check. I just have not gone back to reach out to the company to make sure that they're not still selling PPE into our state. If they are not, I will be backdating and closing the account effective their last return that they filed.
Great, okay. I appreciate that, and with that, I would move to approve item 4B1, Advanced Management Services, with the understanding that the account will be closed if they are not going to be doing ongoing business in Nevada.
Commissioner Brinkley seconds.
Sec-
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item is B6, Bedford Reinforced Plastics.
Yes, thank you. I just happened to be observing some things. The item prior to this item, the taxpayers had disclosed around $95,000 worth of tax liability. In this case, Bedford Reinforced Plastics lists on their website having Bellagio Fountain and Hoover Dam as their customers, and for some reason I thought, 2418 they paid tax of 4191. They must not have done a lot at the fountain and or at Hoover Dam.
Because I wasn't aware that they had anything to do with those two
Yeah,
projects.
I appreciate that. So with that, I'd make a motion that we move this item to allow you time to take a look at it.
Okay.
Is that a sweet motion or what?
It is. I just let them second so I don't have to restate it. We basically have a motion to pull and take this off the agenda, and it will be rescheduled for a future agenda item. Could I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Rutherford.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I think the next item is E1.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, Commissioner Rutherford, my only question, and this concerns page 2 of the settlement agreement. Specifically, it says that taxpayer is going to make quarterly payments of $3,133.33 for 3 years, so that's 12 quarterly payments. But when you take that amount and multiply it by 12, that comes to $37,599.96, which would leave a balance of $2,400.04. So I guess my question for the state is, what I don't want to see, assuming that the taxpayer actually does in fact make these payments, that we get to the end of 12 quarterly installment payments, and the taxpayer says, thanks, have a nice life, and they still have a balance of $2,000 and change, and they haven't actually paid $40,000.
Go ahead. You have an answer for him?
Good morning, Chairman Wren and Commissioner Rutherford. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I was throwing her under the bus up here.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. She wasn't biting though.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. And so I apologize, I got to this a little late, but I did recently bring this up with debtors counsel, and if Ms. Carline is on the line or her colleague, perhaps they can agree to that, that's an error. I think the number should be $3,333 and 33 cents rather than 3,133. And so, Ms. Carline, are you on the line? I believe her colleague's first name is Natasha.
Do we have anybody on the phone that you can see?
I believe that they had
That's all.
called in on Zoom. Please dial *9, Miss Candace Carleon.
One moment.
This is Ms. Carline. I'm sorry I didn't know how to make you hear me when I spoke. I appreciate very much the question. This is Candace Carline. I represent Grand Canyon and Athens in their pending bankruptcy case. And I do want to assure you that that mistake has been taken care of in the third amended plan, which is on file with the bankruptcy court, which was filed on September 15th. On the bottom of page 7, it calls for payment to the department of the total sum of $40,000 via quarterly payments of $3,333.33. And we will make the change in the settlement agreement as well and resubmit it if that works for everyone before it is signed by the commission.
Well, and I'll ask Mr. Pope this question, man. I don't think this body, the tax commission, has the authority to sit here and blue pencil a settlement agreement. So I have concerns about approving this one when the amount isn't right. So I don't know what the right procedure is and I don't want to delay this, but I don't want to have a number in here that comes back to haunt the state too. So I don't know if you need to bring an amendment to us or what the appropriate procedure is.
I think we can do it a couple different ways. I think in the past, I think that what they're saying is this is a typographical error in the numbers, which if both sides agree, I believe that we can accept that verbally and get it in writing at the end of the day, and should be okay.
Perhaps one way we could do it is if we agree to it on the record and then circulate a draft and initial the change and then submit that with initials. Would that be okay with the commission and with Ms. Carline?
That's good with me.
And
Jeff's
I'm
thinking.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Counselor.
This is Ms. Carleon. Yes, that is absolutely acceptable to me if the committee can approve the agreement subject to that change being made. We'll be sure and circulate that right away.
Okay.
And I echo that. Sorry for butting in. Thank you, Ms. Carline. I would just say that approve it subject to those initials being put on the agreement. Thank you.
Okay. With that, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other questions unless other commissioners do.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
This is Commissioner Witt. I just have a question for council. I'm just curious, is there a brief description as to what happened to the Small Business Association loan for $2 million?
Yes, there were multiple loans in more than that amount. And as reflected in the bankruptcy case, some of that money went into operations, but monies were also loaned to another company that was mining cryptocurrency, or that was set up to mine cryptocurrency. And at that time, cryptocurrency was doing great guns, and initially the payments were remade, but shortly after that, the crypto market tanked and those payments stopped. There have been just a very few payments since the bankruptcy was filed. And by way of disclosure, that company to whom the loan was made has a minority interest in that company is owned by the owner of these companies. So there's been a lot of discussion of that in the bankruptcy. The SBA is not thrilled with that. The bankruptcy judge, frankly, is not thrilled with that. And we've had a trustee appointed in the cases as a result. The trustees have worked with the debtor and the SBA to come to an agreement for a repayment of the secured portion of the SBA claim. And I understand from the trustees that we have an agreement in principle. We don't have yet a formal acceptance from the SBA, but frankly, it's a problem, and it's something that we've dealt with through this bankruptcy, and I think it probably was part of the decision to settle this claim was that the SBA has a very large claim which is secured by all of the assets of these debtors, as well as a claim against Mr. Dobbs, the owner, personally.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no other questions, I would make a motion to approve this settlement agreement with the noted revision regarding the amount for the quarterly payments.
Commissioner Witt, second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us up to, I believe, G3. Patel?
Yes, thank you. It's Commissioner Lippman for the record. My question is on the amount of the offer and compromise that has been decided. The documentation from the state indicates it's $3,500, but the taxpayer continues to say in correspondence that they've already paid $500 toward the $3,500. And my sense is there's not a meeting of the minds as to the actual amount now outstanding.
Okay, and who do we have with the state?
Good morning. You have Mixley Arambula representing the state. My last name is spelled Arambula. The offer is for $3,500, and it is my understanding that the offer has not been paid in full. If approved, it would be paid within 30 days of approval.
Is the taxpayer on the line? Because there's correspondence in the record that indicates that the taxpayer has paid $500 and that they only believe $3,000 is outstanding. And so that was my sense from the record, that the state believes, I think both sides agree it's $3,500 offer, but the taxpayer seems to believe that they've already paid $500. I can find the pages if that's helpful.
Looks like we have somebody coming to the table to answer your question.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. We have taxpayers representative. His name is Charles Tucker, for the record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tucker. I just want to make sure that your client understands there's $3,500 outstanding at this moment rather than only $3,000.
Sorry. Yes, they do. They understand it's complete $3,500 due in 30 days.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure the record seems to reflect the taxpayer saying they've made $500 and that $3,000 is outstanding. But as long as we have a meeting of the minds, I'd move to approve this offer and compromise. And thank you for both of you for bringing this to some closure.
Commissioner Bursi,
Thank you very
seconds.
much.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, I believe that takes care of everything on the consent calendar. If we have anybody in the audiences that were here for the consent calendar, we have concluded that and made our rulings on that. So you don't have to stay if you don't want to. Director Hughes?
Thank you, Chairman. The next item on the agenda is Agenda Item 5, the Compliance Division. Agenda Item 5A is Department Recommendation to the Commission for Denial of a Payment Plan Request. The first item under that agenda item is Morive LLC, DBA S&R Auto Sales. And for the department, we have Kathy Fay.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kathy Fay. The last name is spelled F as in Frank, E-Y. Mr. Molina he went to the entire Las Vegas office, and supposedly he's on his way here. Do you want me to go ahead with the presentation?
Why don't we move you down on the calendar until he gets there, see where we are when he gets there. That'd be okay?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Director Hughes, is that okay with you?
Yes, that is fine. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Agenda Item 5B, Approval of Refund Credit Requests in excess of $250,000. Item B1 is Las Vegas Peach LLC, and we have Guy Childers for the department.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Guy Childers, Audit Tax Manager for the department. On October 5th, 2022, Las Vegas Peach LLC submitted a request along with amended modified business tax returns for the periods of 12/21 through 6/22, along with information and proof of double returns and payments requesting a refund. The reason for the request: taxpayers submitted returns and payments for the period of 12/21 through 6/22, and their third-party payroll provider, Paylocity, also filed returns for the same periods, thus creating an overpayment of MBT tax. The returns filed by Paylocity were filed and paid in error because the taxpayer files MBT returns in-house. The review concluded the double filing claim by the taxpayer was valid, and effective July of 22, the taxpayer has discontinued the error of double filing of the returns with their third-party provider. The request was filed timely, and the department is recommending approval of the refund in the amount of $282,439.16. However, as the taxpayer failed to exercise due diligence in overseeing the completing of the MBT returns, which resulted in double filing, the department concluded this to be carelessness on the part of the taxpayer and is disallowing interest pursuant to NRS 363B 150. Thank you, and if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Sorry, questions or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rhoda for a quick question for Mr. Childers. Are you satisfied, Mr. Childers, that they have sufficient procedures now in place to ensure that this non-compliance issue doesn't happen again in the future?
Yes, Commissioner. I have talked to the person that filed the request at Las Vegas Peach, which is actually a DBA for, the DBA is Gotel Air Conditioning here in Vegas, and they have corrected their problem. I'm satisfied.
Thank you.
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
Commissioner Rhoda.
Byram, second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item on the agenda is Agenda Item 5B2, Varian Medical Systems, Inc. We have Guy Childers for the department, and I do believe representatives for the taxpayer on the telephone.
Again, good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Guy Childers, Audit Tax Manager for the department. On on April 1st of 2023, Varian Medical Systems, Inc. submitted a request along with amended modified business tax returns for the periods ending 1 of 20 through 3 of 23, along with proof of double returns and payments requesting a refund. The reasons for the request: the taxpayer submitted 2 sets of returns and payments for the period of January of 20 through June of 22, and did not claim eligible commerce tax credits to the periods of 1 of 20 through 3 March of 23. A review concluded the double filing claimed by the taxpayer was valid, and also effective July of 22, the taxpayer has discontinued the practice of double filing of the returns. The review also concluded the taxpayer was eligible for the commerce tax credit. The request was filed timely, and the department is recommending approval of the refund in the amount of $570,000, $889.15. Let me try that again. $570,889.15. However, as the taxpayer failed to exercise due diligence in completing the MBT returns by double filing, the department concluded this to be carelessness on the part of the taxpayer and is disallowing interest pursuant to NRS 363B 150. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to make a motion. Did the representative have anything they needed to say? Nope. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram. I would move to approve the refund or credit refund for Varian Medical Systems.
Commissioner Witt, second.
I have a motion, a second, for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The next item on the agenda is item C, Department request for approval of motion to dismiss taxpayer's appeal and affirm the decision of the administrative law judge. C1 is Luciano's Pizza, LLC, and for the department, we have Richard Yin, Deputy Attorney General.
Yes,
Good
go
morning,
ahead.
Commissioners. Lucino's Pizza LLC was an administrative case that decided in December of last year, and they were required to file a brief within 30 days. It's been 10 months and they haven't filed a brief, so the Department of Taxation feels it's necessary to dismiss this case. I'm available to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Rutherford, I'd make a motion to approve
Good
the
morning.
dismissal.
This is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Yeah, Commissioners, we do have taxpayer and representative in Las Vegas.
Okay, I apologize. Go ahead, please. Identify yourself, spell your name, and go ahead.
Good morning. This is Aniela Szymanski. Last name is spelled SZYMANSKI. Nevada bar number 15822. I am the debtor's counsel, and the managing members of Lucino's Pizza are here with me as well. I will allow them to introduce themselves.
Good morning. Lucetta Scolaro, Lucetta Scolaro.
Good morning. My name is Giuseppe Scolaro, and it's Scolaro.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. We are requesting that this motion to dismiss be denied and that the commission accept the opening brief that I have with me for filing today. The motion cites a letter of January 18th, 2023, stating that a 30-day briefing deadline was established that my clients did not comply with. However, my clients state that they never received that letter. Between late January through the 1st of August, I myself, as their counsel, was on military reserve duty in Virginia and Washington, D.C. But I was staying in touch with my clients who repeatedly told me over the phone during that time period that they had not received anything from the department. I also had an assistant who was checking my mail here in Las Vegas while I was on reserve duty, who told me that he had not seen that letter either. Given these circumstances, we respectfully request that the motion to dismiss be denied, and this opening brief that I have with me today, it's already completed, be accepted for filing. There would be no harm to the state in accepting the opening brief at this time, because even if the business does not prevail in their appeal, interest will continue to accrue during this time period. So there would be no harm to the state in allowing this additional time and for the brief to be accepted today.
So do we have any proof that the
Deputy Yen for the state. So on Exhibit C, there's a certificate of service of the letter to the taxpayer, and it's signed by Don Hernandez, and it's sent to council and to the appellant Lucino's Pizza LLC at their address on 3421 East Tropicana Ave.
I'm sorry, what page are you on? So I can get there.
It would be on the motion to dismiss Exhibit C, and it would be, the third page is a
29.
certificate of service. And that letter acknowledges that an appeal has been filed, and it cites NAC 360-175, which requires a 30-day period, or informs them of the 30-day period to file the brief. In addition to this letter, my letter is to announce representation of the Department of Tax also informs them that quite a few months had passed and we haven't received a brief. That was in August, August the 21st. Additionally, the Department of Taxation also sent them notice of today's hearing. They've obviously received it as they are here today. And lastly, the motion to dismiss was filed in early September, giving them 3 weeks, approximately 3 weeks to respond. So we object to any further reasons. I think they've had plenty of time to show the court or show the Department of Taxation that they were unable to. They've had plenty of notice, is my point.
Have you had any correspondence with them at all up until today?
I have not, but I did receive also a receipt that the motion to dismiss was filed. That's not on the record as it was received by us after filing and with the commission. It's USPS. I can read out the confirmation number, 7016-3010-00000086. 2347, and that's to Lucino's Pizza at their address in Tropicana, and then also to Ms. Szymanski at her Charleston Boulevard address. And they're signed by Mr. Scalero and Ms. Szymanski.
And dated when?
So the USPS certificate of service is not dated, but it was after the filing of the motion to dismiss.
Okay.
Yes, we're not disputing receiving the motion to dismiss. We did receive that, and that's why my clients and I are here today. So that's not in dispute. What's in dispute is the January 18th letter, which does not, the only evidence of mailing is a signature by Don Hernandez, and there was no actual proof of mailing of that. As well as after I received the August 21st, 2023 letter, which I did receive, I did call the number on my assistant did call the number. I'm sorry, there was no number actually on the letter. She I see, yes, this is the number she called. Richard Yen received, and she stated to me that she received his voicemail and that she never received a call back. So we did make diligent efforts in pursuing this appeal after it became apparent that the January 18th, 2023 letter had not been received.
Again, Deputy Yen, for the record, the August 21 letter also contains my email address. I did not receive an email. Counsel states that she called my phone, but there was no message that was left. I was unable to, if they had in fact called, I was unaware of it. August 21st till today also gives them sufficient time, 30 days, to file, and they still have not filed. So the department remains opposed to any further discussion.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Motions?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes, go ahead.
I do have some questions on this, but they're probably beyond what is in front of us today about the transaction to acquire the company. Doesn't seem like that contract was fully performed, and it might implicate who the debt belongs to. And I'm not sure about that, but I would.
Unfortunately, you're right. That's outside our scope of decisions today.
Right.
Actions that we can take.
And I don't think there's any harm in tabling and giving the parties additional time, considering that their counsel was fulfilling some military requirements, and there seems to have been some balls dropped. But I don't see any harm in tabling this and allowing them to get their brief filed and go forward with it, although it appears the state did do the proper certified mailings to the correct address on file with the state, and that deems it to be properly filed. The state did the correct steps, but I think within our discretion, we can allow some additional time, given some notions of fairness and equity, and just considering that there's been some miscommunications and the attorney was trying to stay available, but was not receiving information that they had gotten these notices. But I would move to not dismiss, but to table and allow additional 30, 60 days or an additional period of time to have this fully briefed and argued.
I would agree with that motion, but I want to see hard deadlines, and I think 30 days is appropriate at this point. Everybody should have some idea what's going on, what needs to be done. So if you can make that part of your motion, I would support that.
Another friendly edit, Commissioner Lippman. Thank you for, I'd like to have the taxpayer explain to us who Mr. Hernandez is, who signed for the document. And then also, I would like to just accept the brief as of today. I think the taxpayers had adequate notice, and I agree with you, Commissioner Byram, that the state has fulfilled all of its obligations. But if they have a brief with them today, rather than giving them more time, shall we just accept that?
We can accept the brief, but we haven't received it. We haven't seen it. But if we accept it as of today's date, and then we have it a decision to make at on our next agenda, I think that would be good timing.
Okay.
Yes,
But
which would
and
be-
that gives the state the opportunity to reply.
I think we should give the state the time, but then accept the brief, not give them more time. They've had adequate notice, and then move on.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll withdraw my motion and ask Commissioner Lippman to make a motion that is suitable.
Okay.
Thank you. May I have the taxpayer respond to who Mr. Hernandez is, who signed for the document?
Is that the certified mail receipt? Is that?
Yes, I believe
Were
that that was who signed for the January letter that taxpayers
There was
saying
no
never.
signature for the January letter. That was not sent certified.
Deputy Ann, for the record, if I may.
Sorry, go ahead.
It was signed by an employee of the state of Nevada that it had been sent to the taxpayer and council.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you. So the motion is that the state accept the brief the taxpayer is filing now, and we give the state 30 days to respond. And I'm not clear why it would be agendized again. Because the agenda item is for dismissal. So Commissioner Byram, I need your input here.
Well, the administrative law judge's decision would then be still open to dispute by the taxpayer and then respond by the state. So we would still be in a position where we need to either affirm that decision or not. We would not be needing to
dismiss
based on failure to prosecute.
Correct.
Excellent. That's the motion.
And I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the discussion.
This is Commissioner Witt. The taxpayers made an effort to be here or there in Las Vegas. Do they have anything they'd like to say?
I would like to say thank you for your consideration for all of this. We flew in from Georgia to be here because we want to do our due diligence to make sure this is handled properly. And we appreciate all your consideration and allowing us to at least speak here today on behalf of our business. And thank you once again.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bursey, I'm a little confused on what the motion is and procedure, because we have a proffered brief from the taxpayer that I believe would be related to the motion to dismiss. But it's my understanding, but that's not something that we're going to follow up on. So maybe I need to hear the motion again, please. Was it Commissioner Byram or Commissioner Lippman?
Lippman.
So the motion is to, I guess the motion on its face would be to deny the dismissal of this matter. And at that point, then we're still considering whether the administrative law judge's decision should be accepted or overturned. And so the motion here is to deny the state's request for dismissal, but that we're putting in, we're accepting the taxpayer's brief as delivered today, and then the state has 30 days to reply. And then we're expecting that this will come before the commission in 30 days for us to decide whether or not the ALJ's decision should be accepted or overturned.
Okay, question I guess we need to ask is what the brief is. Is it for the motion to dismiss or the ALJ's decision?
It is the opening brief appealing the ALJ's decision.
Okay,
Excellent.
so, and that's okay, we can accept that today, it's not necessarily part of the motion. We're saying go ahead and present it there so it gets where it needs to get to today, and everybody has 30 days to get their ducks in the row, and we'll plan on hearing this in our December hearing. Everybody on that page? Okay, so I still have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rutherford. I would just make the following comment that I do believe the state has followed proper procedure and statute here, and the matter is considered served on the taxpayer when it is properly deposited in the United States mail, so I will not be supporting the motion.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Deputy, and if I may, can we clarify, because council has a pleading in front of her, which I do not have up here in Carson City. So if the commission moves forward with this motion, can we clarify that they have to mail it to me, and we have it within the day?
Yeah.
So we can start with our 30-day period to respond.
Exactly. I'm assuming they're going to email it to you today.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that.
Council, you'll have it to him today?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And actually,
Chairman Wren?
because of Commissioner Lippman, because we're not meeting a month from now, does it help the state? Because I do believe that the state properly served the taxpayers if we give them 60 days until the next meeting, because we're not meeting again in November, we're meeting in December.
Deputy Ian, thank you for
So-
your consideration. That would be fine with the state.
Okay.
Commissioner Wren?
Yes, go ahead.
David Pope is here. David Pope is here from the AG's office. He'd like to speak to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you again. Sorry for butting in, but if the commission would prefer, I could just grab a hard copy because I'm here. So
How about both?
just thought I'd offer that.
How about both?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
both.
Sounds good. Thank
Okay,
you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Oh,
No.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
The next item on the agenda is item C2, the winery supermarket. We have David Pope, Chief Deputy Attorney General, representing the department, and I am not sure if we have a taxpayers representative present.
Hello, David Pope with the Attorney General's office on behalf of the department. I do not see a taxpayer representative. And I've had no contact with a taxpayer representative.
okay, anything you want to say?
Thank you. I would just summarize what's in the motion. The taxpayer started this appeal November 15th of 2022. They should have filed a brief and designated portions of the record within 30 days. They didn't do that. The department reached out to the taxpayer on May 24th, asking whether they were going to file a brief and pursue with their appeal or drop it. I did something similar via email on August 17th. To my knowledge, I haven't received a response. And with that, the department requests that this matter be dismissed. Thank you.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram,
Go ahead.
I would move to dismiss the taxpayer's appeal and affirm the administrative law judge's decision in the matter of the winery supermarket.
Commissioner Rhoda for seconds.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Good? No? Just waiting? Hurry up. Okay.
Commissioner Lippman, can we just make sure the taxpayer's not on the phone?
Okay, we'll check on that real quick.
If the taxpayer is on the phone for the Winery Supermarket Corporation, please dial *9. Broadcast and production, do you see anybody on the line?
There is no one on the line choosing to speak at this time.
All right, thank you very much. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Director Hughes.
So the
Thank you.
taxpayer for item 5A1, Mariv LLC, is now present in Las Vegas. So would you like to take that
Yes.
at this time. We have Kathy Fay for the department.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Kathy Fay, F as in Frank, EY, Tax Program Supervisor 3 for the department. Mr. Molina is here. The department is also engaged in an interpreter to assist. So, do you want their names? Do you want them to introduce themselves?
Yes, please.
Y diga su nombre.
Rudy Molina.
Okay. ¿Lo puede deletrear el apellido?
Molina.
Gracias.
Rita Molina, the manager of Marib LLC, doing business as SNR Auto Sales, is requesting a payment plan for an audit deficiency determination for sales and use tax period January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2021 in the amount of $27,103.11 for tax penalty and interest calculated through April 30th, 2022. Mr. Molina is requesting to pay $300 a month for 10 years. A total of $4,800 has been paid, leaving a current balance due of $24,758.99, comprised of $16,985.60 in tax, $2,178.58 penalty, and $5,467.42 in interest calculated through October 2nd, 2023. All payments are being applied to tax only, with interest currently accruing at $127.39 per month. Entity and personal liens have not been filed due to Mr. Molina stating that the liens would negatively impact his ability to purchase inventory. The business is currently open, and the business has remained current with both payment plan payments and filing and paying returns. Taxpayer stated in the request that his income is low and his wife is ill. The 2022 documents provided do not substantiate his statements and show an ability to pay the debt more quickly. So a request was made to increase his monthly payment. Mr. Molina stated that he cannot afford to pay more than $300, so the department requested additional documentation, but no additional documentation was forthcoming. The department recommends the payment agreement of $300 be denied. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Thank you. Just so I'm clarify this for me, for looking at through this paperwork, it appears that they actually have about a little bit over $28,000 a month in net income that could go towards their debt, part of it anyway, a larger portion than $300 a month.
Kathy Fay for the department. Yes, that is what the financials provide.
Okay. And they didn't provide you with any other financials to say that's wrong?
No, they say that that is all they can afford, but no additional documentation has been given to the department.
Okay. Further questions? Motions?
Commissioner Lippman, for the record, Ms. Fay, do you have an offer of what an acceptable amount would be?
Kathy Fay for the department. Not really, because of course we don't have all of their financials. Based on what we have, it would appear that they could pay it very quickly within a few months.
Thank you.
Does the taxpayer have anything they would like to tell us?
Yo envié los documentos a Rosalinda Brothers.
Verena Vader, I'm the interpreter for Homeland Language Services. Rudy Molina said that he sent all the documents to Rosalinda Brothers.
Yes, my name is Dennis Thompson, and I work with Rudy Molina. You know, I helped him open the dealer, so just to
give you a little bit background on what's going on, because I know exactly what's going on. So the problem started because we had somebody do this for us, and she wasn't doing it right. You know, we are not trying to say that we don't owe that money. We do owe that money. But unfortunately for him, which is true, his wife at the time, she had COVID, and she was at the hospital, like in and out of the hospital. And in fact, this weekend they had to travel to, ¿dónde fueron?
Nashville.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. They had to travel to Nashville because she got sick again, and he's trying to find somebody that can help him, you know, get his wife better. So he's trying to pay this debt. The things that he's trying to do right now so he can get some money to pay this debt, we are trying to get 3 financing companies because, you know, the way that he was working this dealer was with his own money. And that's why he got into so much debt. So right now, so you know, we're trying. We are in a few days, we're going to sign some contract with some financing companies. That's going to help us sell more cars. Therefore, we're going to be able to pay faster. Today, he brought with him $5,000 to put down as a good faith, because he's trying to find out a way to pay. $300 might sound a little bit of money, but for him, it's a lot of money. But basically, what we just need time to see if we can come up with more money. You know what I mean? But those $300 that he offered was something that he can work with. You know, he don't want to fail on his payments. So whatever you guys could do for us, we will appreciate. The last thing we want to do is not pay or close the business. Because trust me, this problem started because, you know, we didn't know, and we hired somebody to help us, and she was doing everything wrong. So right now we're trying to learn and, you know, just try to do the best we can. But definitely the debt, we're not trying not to pay it. We just need some help to pay it, because honestly, he's been struggling a lot. I'm his best friend, and I do all this paperwork for him, and he's been struggling a lot. And the last thing I want from him is to close, just because he won't pay, but he will definitely pay. Today he brought $5,000 as a good faith to be able to, hey, just give me some time to work this out. Okay, appreciate your help.
All right, thank you very much. And that's exactly what we're going to do, is give you some help by denying this plan, especially since he's bringing $5,000 to the table. This is going to give you an opportunity to sit down with the state, with him, and come up with a plan that hopefully includes that $5,000 today and something more than $300 a month. It's quite obvious that he wants to pay the debt that he owes, and we're going to help give you that time to do that. Any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Commissioner Witt, I move to support the department in this decision.
Which is to deny the payment plan.
Deny the payment plan.
Commissioner Roder for second.
Commissioner Brooks, seconds.
Okay, I've got a motion in 2 seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And I'm sure
Thank you.
I'm sure the interpreter can help explain all that to him, and good luck to everybody. Director Hughes.
The next item on the agenda is item 6, Local Government Services. 6A, Review and Consideration to Approve an Addendum to Bulletin 213 from the 2024-25 Agricultural Land Values and Open Space Property Procedures to include tables relating to the valuation of open space golf course land and improvements. And for the department, we have Cheryl Erskine.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. For the record, I'm Cheryl Erskine, Coordinator of Assessment Standards for the Division of Excise and Local Government Services with the Department of Taxation. This morning, I would like to present for your review and approval the 2024-2025 Golf Course Table Addendum to Agricultural Bulletin Number 213, which was approved by this Commission on May 1st, 2023. This addendum is prepared in accordance with NRS 361A.225 and is being presented at this time due to the Consumer Price Index tables published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics not being updated until after July of this year. This prevents the LGS from updating golf course land values in time for the May Tax Commission hearing for consideration and approval with the Agricultural Bulletin. As you can see in the first table, the land value of golf courses is calculated by considering the July 2023 CPI amount of 324.365 or 865, which results in a factor of 1.68. When this factor is applied to the 2004 taxable per acre value, you get this year's taxable per acre value of 4,805. This proposed value increase results in a 4% increase over last year. The second table shows this year's Marshall and Swift factors, which are used in valuation of golf course improvements throughout Nevada counties. The third table lists golf course rating points assigned for par readings to be used to determine whether a course is a Class 1, 2, 3, or 4 pursuant to NAC 361A.4410. The tables on page 2 list per hole costs and individual components that could be located at a golf course, such as storm drains, bridges, and water features. At this time, I would like to request approval of the golf course addendum to Agricultural Bulletin number 213 for 2024-2025. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions? Good.
Commissioner Witt, I move to approve the golf course addendum bulletin 213 for 24 and 25.
Commissioner Bursey seconds.
Thank you. I have a motion and second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is item 6B, Taxpayers' Appeal of the Treasurer's Denial of Waiver of Penalty and/or Interest pursuant to NRS 361.4835. We have Victoria Salas for the department, and it looks like we have a representative from Washoe County here. And I believe the taxpayer is on the telephone.
Okay, this is a taxpayer's appeal, so we're going to let the taxpayer go first. If you're on the telephone.
Mr. Collup, if you are on the line, please dial *9. Broadcast and production, is there anybody on the line?
There are no callers to testify at this time.
Okay, we will go to the state then.
Oh, all right. Did you want the state or the county?
County, sorry. I apologize.
Linda Jacobs with the Washoe County Treasurer's Office.
Okay, go ahead and spell your name, please.
Victoria Salas with the Department of Taxation, last name Salas, and then first name Victoria.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so we denied the taxpayer's request both times that they had filed based on failure to receive.
Okay. State want to say anything?
Not at this moment. This is more just the county and the taxpayer appealing.
Okay, taxpayer's not here. Entertain a motion or discussion?
So it's Commissioner Lippman for the record. It appears that the correspondence was through email and the taxpayer said they didn't receive the emails, but that now their email address has been corrected. And so was there an incorrect email address initially?
Linda Jacobs with the Treasurer. We do not have anything that they said they had an incorrect email. The email that they had been corresponding with us, I did have our department check. They never registered to receive those notifications. we mailed the original tax bill to the address on record, which is the correct address, and they got a reminder notice at the end of November, letting them know that we had not received payment.
So it appears from the correspondence that the taxpayer indicates they're now going to receive correspondence by email. Is that true or not? To the extent you can help.
Sorry. That is incorrect. Washoe County has never had the option to receive your tax bill automatically via email. If they do register, they can get an email notification that tax bills will be due the following Monday, and those emails go out the previous Thursday.
But the correspondence is still through U.S. Postal Service.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you for clarification. I'll make a motion to deny the taxpayer's appeal for penalties on their property tax bill.
I would second that motion.
Motion and a
Defer
second.
to Commissioner Parker.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is 6C, consideration of the approval of low-income housing application for property tax exemption pursuant to NRS 361.082 subsection 3 and NAC 361.089 subsection 1. For the department, we have Victoria Salas.
Go ahead.
Good morning, members of the board. Victoria Salas for the record. Today, I'm here seeking approval of the low-income housing application for property tax exemption. This request is made under the authority of NRS 361.082 subsection 3 and NAC 361.089 subsection 1, which empowers the Nevada Tax Commission to consider and approve applications for the low-income housing exemption. To provide some more context, recent legislative changes have enacted through Assembly Bill 62, which has brought modifications to NRS 361.082. These changes expand the options for funding that housing projects can use to qualify for the property tax exemption. Especially, the amendment allows for 3 additional types of funding sources to be considered. We updated the application by adding 3 questions regarding the funding available with a simple yes or no check mark. The application now has 8 questions instead of 4. Like I mentioned, the 3 questions are the additional funding and 1 more additional question regarding the end date of the financing for the project. This application was also sent to a few of the county assessors for review. Thank you for the attention, and if you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Go ahead.
Did the state receive feedback from the counties on this form? On the
Yes.
changes?
Victoria Salas for the record. They were able to review it, and they, I would say they agree with it. And they were the ones who suggested the 4th question regarding when the funding is going to be ending.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the application for low-income housing as it is presented.
Commissioner Witt, second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is item 6D, determination and allocation of certification of centrally assessed 2023-24 unsecured and 24-25 secured unitary property valuations and assessments pursuant to NRS 361.320, NRS 361.321, and NRS 361.323. And for the department, we have Soren Popa.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Sorin Popa. I am the supervisor of the Central Assessed Properties Division of the Department of Taxation. Before you is the 2024-25 secured roll and 6-month QIP, as well as the 2023-24 unsecured roll and 12-month QIP. Based on information provided by taxpayers pursuant to NRS 361-318, as well as other research to verify data conducted by the utility analyst at the department, we have established the taxable and assessed value of property of an interstate and intercounty nature for review and approval by the Commission. Centrally assessed industries operating within the state of Nevada include airline companies, electric companies, gas and pipelines, railroads, private car lines, and telecommunication properties. If you wish, I could either provide summaries by industries or I can go company by company or answer questions. I will defer this to you.
Why don't we see if there's any questions? There's not. I'd entertain a motion.
This is Commissioner Rotifer. I would move to approve the certification of the centrally assessed for the 2023-2024 unsecured and the 2024-2025 secured unitary property valuations and assessments.
Commissioner Witt, second.
Byram, second.
I have a motion and a second. 2 seconds. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is item 7, informational items. Informational item A was penalty and interest waivers granted by the department for sales and use tax, modified business tax, and excise tax. Agenda item 7B is approval and denial status report log for organizations created for religious, charitable, or educational purposes. And item 7C is assignment of Department of Taxation's regulations to commissioners. All those items were included in your packet and they're informational only. I do have Chief Deputy Yvonne Navarez-Goodson to discuss agenda item 7C. Chair, if you would like some discussion on that item.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. Yvonne Navarez-Goodson for the record. Agenda item 7C is related to the regulations of the Commission. As the Commission may recall, early this calendar year, Governor Lombardo issued an executive order by which all regulations would be, existing regulations would be stayed, and each governmental entity, agency would be required to conduct a study and issue a report regarding any regulations that could effectively streamline business in the state of Nevada. During the course of the beginning part of the year, the department undertook a diligent effort to present to the Commission those regulations that it believed could be not only repealed, but those that could be amended. And the department put forth a recommended report to the Nevada Commission of Taxation, as well as to our other boards and commissions regarding those proposals. The Commission approved that report, and the department issued that to the Governor's office in May of this year. As the Governor's office looked at that report at the conclusion of the legislative session, the Governor issued Executive Order 2023-008, by which it authorized, or actually required, all of the departments to go forth with the regulations that were proposed in that report. And so we have really two issues for the Nevada Tax Commission. We have those regulations that were stayed and therefore were pending at the time that report came forward, as well as all of those new regulations by which the department made recommendations for repeal and amendment. And so we have quite a hefty list of regulations that will be coming forward here in the next calendar year. We have approximately 17 regulations that have already been designated as with regulation numbers by the Legislative Council Bureau, some of which have already been drafted. including some of which that have already had workshops that would have occurred prior, frankly, to this calendar year before this report took place. We've taken a look at those regulations, and we've recommended that as a result of the delay in timing, we will probably hold another workshop for those existing regulations and pursue those toward a hearing before the Nevada Tax Commission when the time is appropriate. Our goal with those 17 regulations is to at least schedule those workshops here in the next few months, some of which may, depending on schedules, go into the first part of the next calendar year, but the hope is that we will hold those workshops for those first 17 here in the next few months. Then, of course, we have another 12 chapters of regulations that came out as a result of the report that the department issued to the governor's office. And so those next 12 regulations, those will have to be provided to LCB to even draft for us before we can start the process of our our workshops and our hearings on those subsequent regulations. So what you have in your informational material, the chair has asked again that we continue to pursue the process by which a commissioner is appointed to work through the process of each of these regulations. You'll see on the information those regulations which have been assigned to the various commissioners to participate in the process. Department staff will be reaching out to you to let you know when those anticipated workshops are scheduled to be held, and for any feedback or information the commissioners may have for the department on those regulations. And with that, Mr. Chair, that wraps up my report.
Thank you very much. One thing I would ask you to look at that as you go through those changes. A few years ago, I was asked to write a ethics class for the assessors, which I did, which I'm teaching tomorrow. I feel sorry for them, but I am. But one of the things that I noticed in going through the material that I put in my class that's still there is there's a lot of, in NRS 361 and NAC 361, there's stuff that's just outdated. There's stuff that talks about requirements from 1975, 1976, and if you didn't do it by 1977, and it's still the law. So I have to read that in this class tomorrow, and it doesn't make any sense. So, and I'm sure we have just all kinds of things in our laws that are just plain outdated that just need to go away, which would save room, I guess. So, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate your effort and the staff's effort on this.
Okay, the next item on the agenda. Oh,
yes.
May I ask a quick question? I think Ms. Navarro-Skidmon already made reference to this, but I just want to make sure that we're commissioners are receive the materials and are notified and kept up to date on when we have an obligation to be part of a workshop or a hearing, that we're getting that in our calendars and notified, because I'm so far away that sometimes I'm a little distant from what's going on at the state. I just want to make sure that there's some sort of a communication that comes out that just keeps me on track, if that makes sense.
And me, I agree. So
Then
they're all nodding yes, is that we will all be informed well in advance of the workshops so that we can prepare and attend them.
And this is Commissioner Bursey. Who at the department is would be the person to field questions from us?
Mr. Chair, this is Yvonne Navarez-Goodson again for the record. Commissioner Bursey, if you'd like to reach out to me directly, I'd be happy to help you with any questions. And our management analyst, Sarah Glazner, is also assisting me in this project.
Thank you. Sounds perfect.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 8, briefing, the briefing to the commission from the executive director. I have only 2 items today. I wanted to provide an update to the commission with the latest progress on the Carson City office move. The department anticipates that all staff will move between November 15th through the 18th, and we will be open to the public at the new Arrowhead location by appointment only starting November 20th. And then we're also pleased to announce that the state of Nevada has issued a notice of award to Fast Enterprises LLC to serve as taxation's vendor for Project Mint, which is our modernization project. The department and FAST have finalized contract negotiations, and the draft contract language will be reviewed by the Nevada Board of Examiners on October 10th. If the Board of Examiners approve the contract, FAST will be commencing its work and coming on board with the department in December. And that concludes my briefing.
Gee, I think we ought to do something instead of adjourn. I don't know what. Okay, our next meeting, it says December 4th, 2023. I'm assuming that is still correct. Do we have any public comment on the Zoom or telephone?
If you would like to provide public comment for this meeting, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Again, if you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now. There are no callers choosing to provide public comment at this time.
Is there any public comment in Las Vegas?
No, Commissioner Rent, there is not.
Is there any public comment in Carson City? Any items for future agenda that the commissioners would like to see?
Commissioner Lippman, for the record, I would like to thank Commissioner Brown for his service. So that's future or present.
Very good, thank you. I sent him an email stating exactly that from all of us, so. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I usually do, but I'm gonna let her slide this one time.